What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 95 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. Now, I know it's been a little bit of a while since the last Ikit episode, and I do apologize about that. Unfortunately, when new campaigns release, this thing does tend to happen along these lines, and older campaigns do get a little bit of a delay on them, especially as you gotta remember that these things are always an engagement game, and episode length and episode scheduling is based on set engagements, so when another campaign gets 10 times the likes and comments, it's hardly surprising that the niceties of YouTube sort of force us to focus on those campaigns a little bit more. But anyway, I'll try to keep it normally scheduled as best I can now that everything's sort of evening out again. Anyway, as we saw last time, Corporal stood against the might of two pretty strong lizardmen armies and once again destroyed them by and large without losing too much in the way of troops. This also means that there are no further last defenders helping out in this particular area where the court of Libaris is, and we will soon be able to march upon them, destroy the court, and then start hitting the last defenders from two directions at once, and hopefully knocking them out soon. I also do imagine that Talak was going to be rebuilding their armies, if not already up, so we will have to be concerned about all that. Anyway, let's begin with what we've got to do. First of all, Scalpite, please take out Alberic de Bordelot here, should be auto-resolvable, and ambush. Ouch. Ouch, my friend, and you're out. That should have happened last time, but oh well. And we can get, I guess, the food. Maybe we'll take a few new territories. Hey, a free man-thing slave. That's always a nice find because of the income from buildings. And we can always put that on a booster. Anyway, you can go into March stance now and start moving towards... Actually, maybe the Deadhead Monolith. The Fey Enchantress is coming by, and we may need to deal with her as well. Pestalich, rather, you're probably going to have to deal with the Order of Lore Masters as well. You do have that Ruin Unrestrained trait, as well as the Perceptive trait. Maybe get a few little, maybe if you get a few more kills and we'll keep you around, we shall see. Shife, you're going to take Dawn's Landing now that you've taken the Fortress of Dawn. And there's a Skull Island and some other stuff here, but I think we're still going to have to prioritize heading you out to defeat the last defenders. This should be auto-resolvable because this is obviously garbage, spearmen and archers. Probably shouldn't have even taken that much damage. We are going to, I think, loot and occupy. Yeah, I'd love to sack the place, but at the end of the day, if we sack it, we're just going to move away, in which case the Fate Weavers faction are going to then take it and then not allow us to trade it to them for money. So, loot and occupy will actually give us more cash in this particular situation. Alrighty, and then we'll trade this stuff away next turn or so while Shife moves up to the caverns of Sotek and starts attacking the last defenders. Beautiful. And I do believe this is the last army belonging to the Order of Lore Masters, and they have no settlements remaining. So with that, the Order of Lore Masters is done for. Lovely. Alrighty, now, next up, we have you, Lord Skrolk. You are ready. Your army is complete, and you are going to start sailing out to Lustria. Make sure that you sail in such a way that you don't take attrition. We'll go through the Sorcerer's Islands, and we'll sail from here to the coast and land at the Pox Marsh. We will have to try to make a beeline towards Wishel and try to reclaim it for Lord Skrolk so that he can have his capital returned to him. And I think we're actually going to move Deathmaster Snitch down there as well. I was originally planning to send him to Cathay if the campaign does run that long. We shall see, depends on interest as usual. But if he helps with Lustria a little bit, he can then take one of the sea lanes and then arrive at Cathay through the sea lanes instead, as opposed to going through the mountains. We have plenty of forces here, and I do think that we'll need the help in Lustria anyway. So, Snitchy, you are going to go into March stance as well, or ooh. And Mullitson is here, eh? He might attack you in the, let's see. Guess we could go by land, it's not that much of a difference. And then sail out of Sartosa. Yeah, alright, fine, go by land. Let's do that. And then Boilrin will have you probably generate new armies shortly. We can also let you go for now, but I'll think about it. It really depends on how many more armies we want right now. With every new army right now is costing us insane amounts of cash because of the supply lines. Anyway, Ikit and Co. Let's see what you guys have got going on. We do want to take out Zamnil Berdrick here so that we can move to Eschen and to Castle Drakenhof. And actually, that reminds me, the Mutant. Please go ahead and take Oakenhammer. And this looks auto-resolvable to me as well. Auto-resolve it, please. Please don't get hurt tonight. You're fine. We will... I guess we can sack it. Alright, very nice. Hey, a free Warpforged Blade. Very nice. And an Artifact Hunter as well. Now, do we need to take this place at a high tier, I guess is the question. And the answer is probably no. We can take Zufbar at a high tier because it has iron, and then we can move to Grom Peak. Yeah, alrighty. 2 Oakenhammer, please, and Ludnakbat at tier 1. It's not like the Mutant is afraid of an attack by the Dwarfs. He can take care of himself, as we've already seen. Ikit and Metable. Let's see if we can get an ambush going on Zamnil Berdrick here. Away you go, Metable. Probably should have had Bok the Harmless do something first. And hey, an ambush. Very nice. Pyrrhic victory, apparently. And Metable is, in some ways, our weakest army. Well, depending on how we use the army. Obviously, if we do a proper sort of retreating ambush and don't fight the enemy directly, then this army is very strong. But if we force all of our units into the fight, Eschen Triads and Death Runners alike aren't really supposed to be frontliners, and certainly not against Longbeards. So it really does once again depend on how you use the army. Anyway, this does still seem to be worthy of a cinematic battle, especially as the battle result is Pyrrhic, so let's get to it. Ah, went the wrong way. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see if Metable can take care of this without too much problems. Granted, the enemy army is hurt and it is an ambush, so we do have quite a few advantages going our way. We've also set Metable's army up completely surrounding the enemy units from various directions, as obviously this particular army once again does not like to get into direct combat. And we're going to annoy the enemy with our Jezzails from 3 different directions, as well as our Gutter Runners. Both of the regular variety as well as the slings. Gonna try to knock out these organ guns before they can do anything, and then afterwards switch to the enemy thunderers and whatnot. We've also activated our first use of the Veil of Shadows and Overcast, mostly to annoy the enemies at the head of the column while we try to head in with our Lord, Metable, and his assassin minion to try to kill the Rune Lord here. And it looks like the Rune Lord does manage to knock Metastorm back, which is a little bit unfortunate considering he's activated all these buffs and wants to really hit hard while he has them. 142 melee attack and 99 melee defense. Pretty intense. Oh, it's a nice little leap from Metable there. Alrighty, well, you two get to work on the enemy lord. That's going to take a while, though hopefully the hammerers won't interfere with it too much. Looks like the enemy organ guns are destroyed, and now we're switching our fire to all of the to all of these enemy thunderers here, so that they once again don't dish out too much damage. And both of the snipers' bullets, as well as the slings, as well as all of the shuriken coming into them, are looking like they'll destroy them fairly quickly. There we go. And not much value out of them so far. The Bugman's Rangers are going to attack us, but we should be able to knock those out as well. And we've sent in our clone units of Ixchus Triads just to distract the enemy as best we can. We also have not yet sent in our melee units because we want to soften up the enemy army as much as we can before we send them in. Looks like our assassins have nearly killed the enemy lord here, who's down to 300 HP, but unfortunately it looks like he's backed off enough that we won't be able to reach him. And not to worry, we've summoned a unit of clan rats here with Menace below, and we're going to get the assassins out of the press while the clan rats cover for them, and then simply use our Jezzails to annoy the enemy. Also on top of that, a second Veil of Shadows will hit all of the enemies that were surrounding the clan rats and our lords to prevent them from achieving anything as we run away with our lords there. Alrighty, and a fireball coming in. Might as well also take advantage. Oh, huh. They're exchanging fire. Well, that's kind of neat. I've never seen that happen before. Ha! Pretty nice shot. So it looks like the enemy has a ruby ring of ruin and is launching it towards our lord, and directly towards the unit that fired, and we are going to hit the enemy lord with it, and he still has 53 HP after the fireball hit him. Damn, it would have been great if that had actually knocked him out, but that's okay. The Jezzails can do it for us with a single volley, at really any time that we want. And that time that we want shall be pretty shortly. There is a unit of Iron Drakes, the flamethrower variety, moving around to... Oh, there we go, the Jezzails are firing, and thus the enemy lord should drop. Down he goes. Looks like a decent amount of impacts from those snipers on him. He only had 53 HP, so I imagine only one of them would have actually had to hit. Beautiful, the enemy lord is down, and the various melee units here are panicking, and we're going to take the time to start surrounding them with our melee troops as well. Alright, and here we go, the Ictus Triads chasing down those Iron Drakes, hopefully to prevent them from getting any of those flames out. I do want to be wary of that unit, and our lords are moving in, or lord and heroes rather, are moving in to help out and make sure that these guys die quickly. Otherwise, it's just enemy melee troops, which we are going to lead around a little bit as our Death Runners back off and allow our Gutter Runners to continue annoying the enemy together with our Jezzails. While we do have a little bit of an engagement going on here, some Longbeards surrounded by non-clones, as in a real triads. And a little bit of support coming in from the other units as well. And let's see what's going on up here. Another unit of Longbeards, although it looks like this one has been pretty much overwhelmed by the triads. Gotta love that Weeping Blade, though. Yeah, I feel like the Slayers are a really good matchup against this particular army in many ways, because of their loose formation, the Jezzails aren't great at knocking them out, and on top of that, the Weeping Blade is completely useless against them, and they're good at ripping apart units like Triads and Death Runners, though I'm sure that we can give as good as we take. Otherwise, the battle is pretty much over. There's a few Slayers left to fight, but most of the enemy is routing already, and the battle is ours. Isn't that lovely? Alright, watch the last of the Slayers here go down. Absolutely overwhelmed and losing his head. And a few more Longbeards. We're going to give chase to whatever we can. The enemy was not in march stance, and I would like the entire enemy army destroyed. And Jezzails are going to help as well, but we've seen stuff chase stuff around quite a few times over the campaign, so I don't think we need to watch that again. And there we go. Very, very nice. All things considered, we took very, very little damage for that work, and I think this was a good showcase of what this army can actually do when it's prepared. Granted, once again, the enemy was not at full HP, but the battle should have gone roughly in a similar fashion if the enemy was, especially considering its range units were by and large at full HP, and the melee units would have still been led around by our faster gutter runners and whatnot while we continued to annoy them with range fire. It would have just been it would have just lasted longer, effectively, and probably we would have gotten a few more uses out of the Veil of Shadows. Anyway. Alrighty, so that went well. Apparently Medieval heard me say that this is arguably our weakest army, at least in straight-up combat, and promptly wanted to make me look like an idiot, and decided to destroy everything, basically taking no damage. And all things considered, you gotta remember that his army doesn't have those big fancy spells, no brass orbs, and certainly no artillery to rely on, so they did pretty well. Alrighty, well, this idiot is going to enslave, I guess. We got, oh wow, 95% food. Yeah, but we can enslave a little bit more. Why not? Like so, got a free sword of battle, and there we go with that. Karak Kadrin is destroyed. I didn't realize that was their last army, but I'm glad that we managed to finish them here. Alrighty, how many endgame scenario factions do we have left? We have Zufbar here, but the Mutant is nearby, and Ikit is pretty close as well, so I don't imagine those guys are going to survive for much longer. And then we have the biggest remaining one, which is the Bone Rattlers, and of course the remnants of the Crooked Moon, who still do have a fair few armies moving around out here, and I imagine at least a few more back in the mountains where they have their furthest holds away from us. That said, they will probably be the last of the enemies, I should say, of the endgame scenario that we destroy. And the Spinosotek dwarfs may also in the oh, wait, no. Huh. Okay, so the Spinosotek dwarfs are not a endgame scenario faction because we can talk to them. There's no diplomacy with the endgame scenario factions, like we can't talk to Zufbar or Azorn. Oh right, there's the Ancestral Throng. I forgot about them. How the heck are we gonna get up here? I don't know if we're going to bother with Grumbrindle. We may not necessarily have to. In fact, just out of curiosity, would you be willing to fight Grumbrindle? Ancestral Throng. Not really. And here I thought we were going to try to make friends with them. Yeah, it's still annoying that our tech thief that was up here near Grumbrindle died, so we can no longer steal tech from him and thereby by annoying him and be friendlier with everybody else. But as soon as we have more capacity of engineers, I think I'll send another one up there. We can also, before I forget, get a we can get another Undercity built up at Lothern, and that one at the very least might be worth it. Though, to be fair, once again, I haven't gotten a lot of mileage out of the Undercities in this campaign, and I think the reason for that is, generally speaking, my playstyle is pretty darn aggressive, and I tend to overexpand rather than bothering to build anything tall. And the problem with that is, your Undercities then have to be built super far away from you, and the ones that you build close will then just be, well, destroyed by you yourself taking them, which is kind of the problem. And our other Undercities have not at this time had a lot of time to actually propagate to where we can get a lot of mileage out of them. Oh well, we did invest quite a bit in the Undercities and the in Castle Drakenhof, only for them to get destroyed by the endgame scenario, which, oh well, not a big deal. Ikit don't need no Undercity. He's a strong, independent rat. Alrighty, let's move you, Cyprus, to Waldenhof, I guess. Oh, Manny's here. Huh. We don't really need or care about Moonslaker, though, so meh. Assassinate Isabella. He managed to assassinate Isabella. Well done. And you got a pet wolf rat out of it. Assuming that you don't already have... Well, yeah, you already have one. And nonetheless, well done, Bok the Harmless. Belying that name. Alrighty, Cyprus to Waldenhof, please. And I guess we can use... Wait. We can use Metable to move a little bit closer and then hopefully help out with this. Let's see if you can actually get close enough. Yes, you can. That means auto-resolve should be easy. Alrighty, Waldenhof falls and is that... Oh, another Razor Standard. Very nice, guys. Very nice. Occupied a tier 1. And defeated Manfred, attrition from vampiric corruption, and there we go, Sylvania destroyed as well. Cyprus, obviously, you do not need the Razor Standard. Alright. And we gotta build Cyprus a proper army. He originally started as a temporary lord, but, you know, that's pretty typical for me. So many temporary lords that started out as such, and now I'm just super attached to all of them. Anyway, we're going to grab Eschen while we're at it with Ikit Claw, and then we'll grab Castle Drakenhof next, as I don't believe any of our quote-unquote allies can currently reach it. Colonize it at tier 1. And then we'll colonize Drakenhof at a higher tier because it is obviously a gold mine. Quite literally. Let's say Rattling Warrens here. We will need the growth. Don't bother collecting the income as yet, however, though we will obviously do so afterwards. Very nice to get rid of 2 major factions in one go. There is also Draika. How is she doing, incidentally? She's got 3 territories. Oh, Trolio continues to live, and he did sack Vitevo before, but Throg looks to be on his case. I could try to tell Throg to attack him directly, actually. It would mean using up our allegiance on it, though. What if he switches? What if he doesn't decide to go after him? I mean, then again, where would he go? If we take Beckhoffen, and we will take Beckhoffen with Charge Lock. Auto-resolve that. Oh, right, the Doom... Damn you, auto-resolve. Our poor Doom Wheels. Why? Hey, we got a Warpstorm Scroll. Not that we have a crazy amount of usage for them, but better than nothing. Don't bother collecting the income here as yet, but we will later. We should also, you know what, start with the pottery. We should be able to grow these places fairly quickly anyway. Alrighty. Hopefully Otrolio does try to move away from Vitevo rather than taking it and allow Throg to take it, because I really don't feel like trading for it. Alrighty, who still has to move? Morphific. You are going to take Crookback Mountain. I guess the question is whether you can auto-resolve. Oh, you know what? While we're destroying factions, take the Darkhold Queek, and there's a Star Dragon there, but that's obviously not worth fighting. It'll just get knocked out of the sky by the 2 Warplock Giselles with no problem at all, and we barely even took damage for that. And we are going to take this place at tier 3, because the Darkhold has a landmark that I'm pretty sure we can use. 90% sure. Oh, I probably could have sacked it, actually. I don't actually remember whether Queek is far enough away from it to sack it. Well, I'll give it a try. Sack. And another engineering student, and oh yeah, you got plenty of move space. Now you can take it to tier 3. 1, 2, 3, loot and occupy. And we do not capture. Oh, we can't use the landmark. Huh. Okay, I guess it's not available to us. Dwarfs, vampire counts, and high elves. For some reason, I always assume that anything that the dwarfs can use as a landmark, we should be able to build a landmark as well, just like a Skaven-y version of it, but oh well. Not a big deal. We will need to build the alarm tunnels here, and then we will get the scavenge pile and the rattling warrens. Bit of a waste of food, but we're still at 93%, so not that big of a deal at the end of the day either. Morphific. I know that there is a strategic location here at Crookback Mountain, so we will want to take this at a higher tier, though the problem is there's a bunch of armies here. I think Obside can take it. Take care of it, I mean. Now, what do we have at Crookback Mountain? Are the defenders sufficient to overcome... No, that... Really, this is all that you have defending this? Okay, well. Now you have nothing defending it. And I also didn't see whether you could sack it, but we gotta give it a try. I mean, 13k is not something we want to pass up. And yeah, we are still close now. Beautiful income from sacking settlements. And did that destroy Imric? No, he's alive. How's he alive? He must have an army somewhere. I think that was his last settlement. Hey, Morphific has the Alchemist as well. I don't necessarily... Wait. You have a Corrosive Blade, which means you already have poison, so the Alchemist isn't necessarily the best on you. Take Crookback Mountain. We will take it at tier 5. Yeah, lots of food expenditure for it, but... There we go. It is a main location after all, and oh wow, this is buildable to tier 2. Damn, I thought that it would take a much bigger tier. Wow, income generated plus 99% at 993, and we're obviously going to invest further. The place is still going to be a cash cow. I think it'll probably still be worth it to have taken at tier 5. And no, I didn't realize that this provided tradable resources produced plus 10% faction-wide. Considering we make an insane amount of money, 52k currently from trade, I do think that that's quite worthwhile. Ooh, we're nearly below 80% food though, so the next few fights, I think, we need to make sure that we fix the food situation. Anyway, Rictus Great Clan Hall, I should say, for you. Obviously the iron. And does the tier 3 iron do anything for us? Well, other than the resources provided. Then we will obviously want to defend the place, don't want to be losing it. We will want the generator, we will want the Taskmaster's platform, always. We will want the construction cavern, because you can't ever have too many engineers. And lastly, I guess either the breeding pit or the scrap heap. I suppose we will need to grow Mount Greyhag, but... This does seem like a fairly decent place to be producing storm vermin, considering the recruitment cost, but on the other hand, I'm not sure that we'll ever actually need more storm vermin. At least not that many. Growth plus 40, income plus 60. Well, nonetheless, let's build the scrap heap. It's not like the growth is going to be horrible here anyway. Yeah, and the reason I'm thinking we may not need more storm vermin is I'm not sure that we can actually handle building too many more armies in terms of the sheer cost. So yeah, just to double check, you do have no more settlements, right? Yeah, he's got an army somewhere. Man, I was hoping to destroy 3 factions, but oh well. As far as I'm concerned, we've basically destroyed 3 factions this episode, so come back and suddenly lots of enemy factions are gone. Corporal, you have to take out the remnants of those forces that you destroyed last time, so take them out, please. Auto-resolve. And we will... It's not enough healing to be worth our time, so I think we'll enslave and get some of that food back. And, oh, I didn't realize we were... I have a thought. What if we do this? Trade Resetra. 2.1k, eh? That's actually not bad. I do find it funny that these two are fighting amongst themselves and we're still reasonably friendly with Cetra. Now, unfortunately, it's impossible to get a defensive alliance with him unless he can peace out. And I really find it to be quite stupid that you can't ask your own allies, like in this case, the Exiles of Khorne, to peace out with another faction. While it does tickle me that we've essentially had a permanent eternal war between the demons and the dead in the middle of our empire, and I like to think that the Skaven just permanently watch this, but it really should be an option to ask your allies to join your, or peace out with factions. But anyway, you, take out the memo. Ambush, okay, we didn't need it, but lovely. More money, more food, and more XP for Corporal. Let's take the additional food here. Not enough money to be concerned with. And we cannot reach Mahrok this turn, so we will be moving up to it next turn, but that's fine. Because, oh, there's a construction cavern here, but the tier 3 construction cavern doesn't do anything for us, so you're out, and you're out, and I guess the scrap heap is out as well. We'll replace it with... Huh. Well, actually, no, you can keep the scrap heap. We'll go growth, and then we'll grow defenses. Yeah, alright. And the public order here is fine as well. Lovely. You are going to go into encamp stance, and you are going to go right here. I don't think anybody's close enough to attack the place, and even if they are, we'd immediately retake it with Corporal. Actually, not healing as much as I thought you would be. Maybe I should have gotten you to Granite Massive? Wait. Do you heal more here? Not really. Wait, maybe a little bit more. Go here then. It doesn't matter that you're in March stance, because you're not really threatened by anybody here anymore. Anyway, well done, Corporal, and also, the talk of the the war between the Exiles and Khemri has reminded me. The Chaos Knights of Khorne. We're gonna go the regular kind, not the Lance kind. We want the personal guard of Queek up and running. Now... yeah, okay, I guess he can do it. I was just wondering whether we should have him take Mount Greyhag, but no, it's fine. And we will have more Morphific do it for us instead. As to what we want to take out of here... Look at all the heroes in this army. I feel like we gotta keep the Storm Vermin. The Warplock Giselles are 2U, so I guess we gotta get rid of 2 of the Plague Claw Catapults. Unfortunate considering they're very high rank, but I'm not seeing anything else that we could get rid of here. I feel like the Chieftains belong in Ikit's, or in Queek's army, rather. And while the Warlock Engineer isn't anything crazy, and we now get less value out of Ballistics Calibration, Death Frenzy is just so useful. I mean, it's only 30 seconds, mind you, but it does power up all of those Storm Vermin. On the other hand, we could also do without it. Ooh, although, you know what? This army doesn't have a lot of anti-air, and Howling Warp Gale... Nah, you know what? I think we're gonna keep them. Let's take out 2 Plague Claws. I think we could do with that. We have 1 billion Plague Claws and 1 billion armies, so let's not have too many of them. Ew! Finally, Chaos Knights of Chaos Knights of... I hate how it goes back to the start. Chaos Knights of Khorne X2. Lovely. And these are more defensive cav. Damn, 690 for each one. Though granted, Storm Vermin at 440. Huh. Actually, considering a unit of Storm Vermin is 440, 690 actually feels relatively cheap for a Chaos Knight of Khorne, because the disparity in skill between a Chaos Knight of Khorne and a Storm Vermin is pretty insane, even if the unit is more than 2 to 1. and 160. Even at 2.5 Storm Vermin to 1 Chaos Knight of Khorne. Chaos Knights of Khorne are pretty big. But anyway, I think that's about it for what we can do this episode, as in without going into the next battle. We do have a battle upcoming next episode, which is this battle. Throt the Unclean versus full stack plus full Wa. And I also want to point out that this army is heading towards us rather than running away, which means the AI thinks that it can win this battle, which is a good sign. A good sign for an epic fight that we'll have to wait until the next episode for, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the Ratgorithm, and thanks for watching.